Awesome. We're a live team. Fantabulous. Hey guys. All right. So welcome. Today we are talking all things about our photography journeys. And I have invited these 4 absolutely incredible individuals to come and join me today to share some of their experiences with you guys. And the best part about this is that this is pretty open. So I'm gonna ask them some questions and they're gonna share a few things. But then if you guys out there have any questions as well for any one of these fabulous women, please feel free to ask. And I'm sure they will answer it if they can. And if they can't, then I'm sure they'll say pass. And that's also fine too. All right. Okay, so today with us, we have Ramona, Billie, Lena, and Nancy. And these guys are recent photography and focus course graduates. And they've also moved on to our photography mastery program, which is the next piece. And I wanted to share with everybody just how absolutely freaking incredible these guys have become as photographers. They have grown and morphed and changed, and they have all developed their own absolutely wonderfully unique styles and just truly incredible transformations. So you guys should all be exceptionally proud of how far you have come. Awesome. Hey, Miriam. Should have joined us today. Anyway, that's okay. Perfect. So let's kick it off here. So the first question that I'm going to ask you guys, and we'll just go around. I'll call you guys out as we go. I just want to hear a little bit from you guys about what photography means in your life and why it's so important. And yeah, just a little sharing. So Ramona, how about you kick us off, because you're the first on my list.
Thanks. So photography, what does it mean to me? Well, for starters, it's been a way for me to record all of the travels and things. I'm always taking pictures with my little CyberShot or my iPhone. And so this photography is now really important to me because it's a step away from my desk, and it's a step up by using a new kind of equipment as well. So yeah, so it's been awesome. Yeah,
that's really cool. Billie?
Photography has been one of those things I've wanted to know more about my whole life, but until a year ago, I was an iPhone clicker like crazy, and I just always wanted to capture more of my kids and our life and beauty in the world. And so I decided to take a big step and started this course, and now I can't imagine without it. It's been such a delight. I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I now have people actually telling me my pictures are pretty good. So it's been great.
That's awesome. Awesome. Lena?
So photography for me, I really got into it, I guess, during quarantine and lockdown, because I was going nuts not being able to travel. I love traveling. So I was like, I'll take up photography, and then I can travel in my backyard and find beauty in everything, in all the little things. For me, it's a huge creative outlet. My day job is definitely more on the technical side. So this is my time to just be free and find beauty and stuff. And it's very rewarding. I find it very relaxing, and it's been super great. I also, I got my DSLR camera about 3 years ago and never actually knew how to use it. So I had,
sounds about right.
I had my mother-in-law recommend to take the Learn photography courses, and lo and behold, now I actually know how to use the thing.
Yes.
So that was like a huge win, because it was sitting there collecting dust. Like, what should I do with this thing? So everything just kind of worked out with the timing of quarantine, and yeah, I'm absolutely loving it.
That's awesome. Cool. Nancy?
Just like everybody else, I was looking for a creative outlet at this time when we're all kind of stuck at home, and I've always been interested in photography. So when the class came up, it sort of came into my lap. I just thought, oh, this is something I've got to do. And I think my eyes are open in a way that they've never been open before. I can't walk down the street without noticing things that I never noticed before and thinking, oh, that'd be a great shot. I really do feel like, yeah, I'm seeing the world with brand new eyes. It's lovely. I really like it.
That's awesome. That's super cool. So guys, I want to ask, what are you guys hoping for, for the future with your photography? Well, I guess when you finally feel like you can put a stamp of your own approval on where you're at, what does that look like? Does that look like, selling your own prints? Does that look like taking beautiful photos? Tell us a little bit about yeah, what does that look like for you guys? What are your dreams and aspirations for photography now that you've come this far? Ramona.
So for myself, it was just to step up the quality of photos that I'm taking, but I'm also inspired by my colleagues in the courses and in the group to, look to the future to see perhaps I could have a business with this kind of thing. So, it's been incredibly wonderful journey that way. And I want to point out that you said earlier, unique style. And that's the thing, is look for, beautiful pictures that you like to take. And, you can try to take something very similar, but remember that you always have your own unique style. So it's finding my niche in this has been incredible too.
That's awesome. And can I just say, it's coming together like nothing I've ever seen before, Ramona. You're discovering things about yourself you never knew. So that's really exciting. I love watching it. So cool. So cool. Billie.
As a mom of 3 small kids, as I'm taking pictures and seeing our photo albums, I'm noticing that I'm not in a lot of the photos with the kids or with our family. So one of the things that I really would like to do as I move forward is take pictures of my friends with their kids in those beautiful moments that aren't posed, they're not anything, but you see love, you see joy, you see tears, you see all of these things, what life is. So that's where I'd like to go more with it.
That's so cool.
I'm not sure what that looks like, but that's what I would like to do. And I'm learning so much about what that might look like for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I haven't heard that from you yet, so that's super cool. I'm excited. Okay, we're going to talk about that next time. Lena, how about you?
So for me, I feel like I'm. Yes, I've already kind of taken some steps to getting to my goal of kind of making my photography into something bigger, possibly a business. I opened a website a couple months back now, and what I'm really enjoying right now is kind of dabbling in all subjects. Like I really love taking nature and bird photos, especially, but I've been dabbling in storms now, and I'm gonna get more into people photography, and I just love how it's all different and challenging, but uses the same kind of basic principles. And it's very satisfying, like kind of getting out of my comfort zone and saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out. There's a storm. I'm going to go in the truck and try to get some photos. And it's super rewarding just doing that. So yeah, hoping to kind of keep making it bigger as I keep going along.
That's really, really cool. Elena was the first to capture a truly spectacular lightning shot of the group so far this season. We get some pretty killer storms here in Alberta, and so that's pretty exciting. Like, so cool. Very inspirational. So that's really awesome. Nancy, how about you?
I'm not really sure where I'm going next, but as I see, being part of the group is so exciting. Every time I see somebody else do something, I'm like, ooh, I want to do that too. So it's hard to decide exactly, but I do see myself making it into something bigger, as time goes on, maybe a business. I think I was the biggest newbie in the group. So I've had a huge learning curve, and I mean, I probably have a huge one ahead of me. So I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be part of my life for the rest of my life for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I don't know if you've got a huge learning curve ahead of you anymore. You've definitely overcome the big hump of learning. You're doing incredibly well. So, and I love the fact that the self-professed newbie is the one who's showing us all up when it comes to things like, light boxes and still light photo shoots. Just such cool stuff, right? So I love the creativity that comes out of, each and every one of you, which is really cool. All right. So obviously we're sort of launching the next cohort of our photography and focus course, which is the course that you guys started with. Do you guys have any information you want to pass on? Like, what is maybe your favorite part of the course, or just some general impressions about what you think about it? Anything that you'd like to share with people who are potentially on the fence or just want to learn a bit more? Billie, okay, go.
So when I started this a little over a year ago, I could take pictures with my iPhone sometimes. And now I can pick up my camera and know what I want it to do and how to make it do it. And one of the things that I've honestly most enjoyed is doing it as a group with people that I can be like, so excuse me, does my camera do this?
Sorry. Good old coffee machine. It's coffee time. Keep going.
But where is this on my camera? How do I do this? How can I set this? How can I change this? Those kind of things. And I've loved watching the courses and all of that, but actually the group part of it where I can ask people and learn and get inspired from what each of you guys have done has changed my photography, or even what I think I want to do with photography is growing so much.
That's super cool. Awesome. Thank you. Ramona.
I wanted to say that when I first started the course, Jana, you were the most patient person, because when the phone calls, those online phone calls are the best. And, for me to be holding up my camera and saying, what does this button do? And what does that do? And now looking back at the pictures that I did take to where I am now and where I'm going is a huge leap. And, here I thought that I was a decent photographer before, and now I know that I have way more room to grow. So it's been amazing, but I totally recommend taking a course for this kind of thing.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Nancy, switching it up.
Ditto to everything Billie and Ramona said. I'm not really a technical person, and so I was very scared of all the things on the little buttons on the camera. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. It really, it's laid out such little increments in the course, and you get everything. As long as you do that big recommendation, do all the exercises. I did that. I would watch the segment, do the exercises, and it really stuck in, and you can go back and see it again, which is great for people like me. So yeah, I'd say definitely number one tip, do all the exercises.
That's awesome. And by the way, you could have told me that you weren't technical, so
well,
I don't know where that came from.
I just scare myself. I look at it and go, it's just too much, but then take your time.
Didn't give up, so that's awesome. I love it. All right, Lena.
So I came into the photography in focus having just completed a couple kind of back-to-back master classes with Learn Photography beforehand. So at first I was like, there will be a little bit of repeat content, but what I've found is that it doesn't matter that it was repeat. The best part of it for me is that I kept practicing. The group kept me accountable to keeping on picking up that camera for 12 weeks. And honestly, that's what I've taken away from it, is like the more photos you can take, the better you get. So that's been like the biggest thing for me. And seeing like everyone's kind of different perspective in the group, that community that's there is just wonderful. Like something like when we did portraits, like everyone has a different style of portraits, and it was like, wow, I want to like try to do something like that, or like it's like a way different way of thinking. So the community and just the continuous practicing has totally like the made it completely worth it for me.
That's totally awesome. That's really cool. Nancy.
I want to echo that. The community is so important. And I think maybe when you go to maybe the camera store and you take a camera course and you're just with that group of people for an hour, you don't bond in the way that we got to on these weekly meetings. And it really, if you were feeling in a slump, you go to your meeting and you get inspired by somebody else, and everybody was just so encouraging and so just helpful. And yeah, the community is super important.
That's awesome. I have loved that part of this. I just have to say, like, it's still my favorite thing. So you guys think this is just a one-way therapy? It's not. It's two-way therapy for sure. So every time I hop on a call, I always feel better about it too. I'm like, oh man, my day just got so much better talking to you wonderful people. So that's awesome. Okay.
I really enjoyed that I will send you an email and be like, so I'm real stuck now and I can't move forward until I know the answer to this question. Can you help me? And normally within a few minutes, you're like, sure, here's a Zoom, let's go. And it's like, thank you. Yeah. Now I can keep going. And that's good. It's been great.
That's really good. Because that is, as you guys know, and I say this pretty much every single meeting whenever we have discussions about things that are not working, the philosophy is fun first, frustration later, right? So let's get rid of that side of things. Photography shouldn't be frustrating. It shouldn't be about all the things that stop you from doing what you want to do. It should be about being able to sort of jump those hurdles as quickly as possible. And that's one of the things I always try to do, is that there are questions that can be left, and then there are questions that need answering like right away. And so sort of helping you guys make sure that you can move past those things. So especially for things like Lightroom photo editing, when you get to the editing side of things, like that can get unbelievably frustrating, unbelievably quickly, as you guys know, right? So just being able to move past those issues as quickly as possible is really important. So that's awesome. That's really cool. All right, now each of these people have very, very busy lives. So if you guys have any questions for them, now is a good time to pop it into the chat, because I know it's always a bit of a delay. But the last question I have for you guys is, for somebody who is looking at jumping on board here, what is the one thing that you'd like to give them as a word of encouragement or as a word of advice as they go forward?
I wish I would have done it sooner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So many missed memories. You got to get on it right now, because otherwise you're missing all this time. That's how I feel about it.
I look at pictures now and I'm like, oh, if I would have done that picture like this, and then the other piece is I was so scared to even touch my camera or screw something up. So my word of advice was do the courses and learn to use your camera so it's not scary. I now have my 7-year-old who's like, Mom, here, I'm going to take your camera and do this. And now I can fix whatever she's done on it. It's been a delight to be able to do that and not be like, oh, well, we're going to have to go buy a new camera.
Let me take that back to the camera store and get them to reset it all immediately. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Ramona.
So Billie touched on it too. I wish I would have done it sooner. And I know how, looking back at a lot of my photos, how they could have been different. And the advice that I have is taking the course, practice, 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 laugh at your mistakes, and just have fun with it. There is no more expression than to just have fun with it, because that's how you're going to learn and grow. And you have a lot of people who are in the course that are going to be encouraging. So it's not a competition. And if it's not fun, then you have to wonder why you're doing it.
Yeah, totally. That's a really good point too. It's not a competition. This is one of those incredible things where you're thrown into a community of people who literally just want the best for you, and it's one of the most wonderful things about it, I find. And the other thing is that we all grow in different areas at different rates. And so sometimes you might be like, oh, I didn't catch on that incredible photo that person just took, but you give it 2 weeks and all of a sudden the whole dynamics have shifted again and somebody else has done something or you've inspired somebody else. And so the growth really is about this idea that we have limitless growth inside of us. And now we can just, we can do this together, which is really, really cool. That's awesome. Good point, Ramona. Lena?
It's tough to follow up because those were the things I was going to say. Just don't be afraid to do it. Like if you're like, oh, it looks like there's a lot to learn, I don't really know where to start. It's laid out so good. Like you start where you need to start, you end where you need to end. You can take as much time as you need to figure things out. You can rewatch the videos. Like it's just so, and the accountability piece is the one thing that I highly, highly recommend. Like the weekly check-ins are awesome to stay on track, because I was considering doing like self-paced learning. And it's easy to put it away if you don't want to, you're like, oh, I'll get to it later, I'm too busy. But the check-ins kind of hold you accountable, and you're like, okay, I'm going to be here. And even if you had a terrible week and you didn't keep up with everything, it's not a big deal. There's always time to catch back up. Normally, if I did have weeks like that where life was crazy, I'd go to the Zoom check-in. I was like, I didn't get anything done. And you know what? It was fine. No judgment. And I got actually re-inspired seeing what everyone had done for the week. So don't be afraid that you're too busy to do it or anything. It really doesn't take much time. It goes by really fast.
So
I miss it. And we're still kind of doing the bi-weekly check-ins now, but it's just so great. Like, highly recommend doing it for the accountability piece.
Cool. That's awesome. I don't know about you guys, but I signed up for a bunch of courses during COVID. Like barely logged in. Yeah, that's how I feel about self-paced things. I'm awful at them. Terrible, terrible. Nancy.
You don't feel like you're doing it by yourself, for sure. I mean, there's nothing worse than sitting at home and trying to work on some course all by yourself. You definitely feel like you're part of a community. What was the question? What was the question?
So a piece of it, some encouragement or a piece of advice for people who are taking the leap.
Oh, yes. Right. Okay. So encouragement would be, you could take 5,000 pictures There's no film involved anymore. Used to just be able to take, one or two or three, and then you'd hope you got something good. You can do this as much as you want. You're going to get stuff that's good. You are, without a doubt. And when you have a couple of these tools with you, you're going to get stuff that is even better than you imagined. And every time you look at those photos and you find that one, it just gives you such a feeling of accomplishment. I think all human beings need creative outlets, and I think photography is super accessible because we all have eyes and we all see the world, and we all have our own perspective, and this is just a way to get your perspective out there. And we have lots of ways to share our photos with the world now too. So yeah, I wouldn't hesitate. If I definitely do it all over again.
Oh, that's awesome. And the other really great part about doing it online, and I just like to point it out here, is that I was literally just on a check-in call, our office hours actually, with a different cohort that's in. And Marion showed up in pajamas, and she's like, "Today I'm having a pajama day." And I was like, you know what? That is the essence right there of why online is so amazing. We don't have to drive anywhere. We get to see all of you guys, which is amazing, and we can wear pajamas while we do it. So, hey, who doesn't love that? That's what I think. I was just like, man, I need a pajama day. That sounds incredible. So, that's all of our inspiration for today. Awesome. I just wanted to say hello to Gigi and to Joey as well. Thank you guys for joining us today. And they all sound like absolutely incredible plans. You guys have totally got this. So definitely keep it up. That's awesome. Okay, so any final parting comments? As I said, I know you guys have all got jobs and lives to get back to. So we'll keep it short and sweet. Any final parting comments? Anything else you want to share before we sign off? Who wants to go
Take
first?
the course. It's really good. You won't regret it.
What Nancy said. Who's up next?
It is completely worth every penny. And, you don't worry about having it all at once. Jana, you worked out payment plans with some people before, and, and that was one of the things, the money will come. And then you'll be surprised because you're going to, excel at what you're doing, and you might actually make a business out of what you're doing. So
that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, Lena, go for it.
So if you're on the fence, just do it. You can and ha so much, but just do it. You will surprise yourself. It is so good for your self-confidence. I will say that it's such a rewarding feeling learning how to take amazing photos. Don't doubt yourself. If you're like, no, I won't be able to do that good. Don't say those things. You will learn how to take amazing photos. So do it. Do it now.
Cool. That's awesome. And Billie?
I absolutely agree. If you're on the fence, you should do it. If you're worried about, maybe you're not good enough, or maybe you're not creative enough, or maybe you're not this or that. Oh my goodness. I had every one of those worries, and I'm just like, I have to do it. I'm going to do it because why not?
Give it a go.
It's been amazing. So
that's
thank
awesome.
you very much.
That's super cool. All right. So a couple of things before we finish off here. So Joey's just asked how much it is and if it works for all cameras. So first of all, Joey, yes, it works for all cameras as long as you have a manual mode on your camera, you're ready to rock and roll. And so that's basically all bridge and SLR and mirrorless cameras. If you're wondering, you can just pop in your camera model and I'll let you know, but it should be fine. And how much the course is? So the course is $997, so just under $1,000. But we also have a 6-month payment plan of $197 a month for 6 months. And I'm going to share a couple of links here. So the first link that I want to share is actually a link to, I just have to concentrate because I can't spell testimonials without actually spelling it out in my head. So the first thing I wanted to share a link is to you guys so that you can come and check out some of the success stories. And I think I have everybody here except for Ramona. So Ramona, we need to talk because we haven't done this yet. But you guys can check out some of the photos that this incredible group of people are actually taking. So if you're doubtful about what they're saying about whether or not they could do it, go and check out the page because they're not lying. They really can do it. They're truly incredible. And then the second link I'm sharing is the link to come and join us and get enrolled. Now our course, the next cohort starts off on July 6th. Okay. And just as a reminder for those of you guys who are watching this either today or tomorrow, which is Friday, we also have an early bird special going on as well. So make sure you're reaching out to us about that, which is super cool. So now that's enough of me, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for not only showing up today, but also for taking the leap of faith, for coming to join me on this incredible program, and also for trusting me when I said you've got this. So I really appreciate that, because that's one of the biggest leaps that you can take in your life. So you guys are amazing. All right. We're going to end the broadcast. You guys don't have to go away. We're just going to stop and sign off. And remember, team, if you have any more questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I always check the chats. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching.